really... She's a good people person, too.
Yes, she is. And so she really gets the people, the orchestra people, working together, and it's really important.
However, when they had mentioned her name first, they opposed her.
They didn't really know her.
Well, fine, but now they all love her. But,
yes.
And what I really like, too, is that the Baltimore, because of her, they're doing more programs in the schools in Baltimore. The orchestra is going out, and people are going out, and they're doing more programs. I really
they started
like
a youth, teaching youth. She's put her own money up in order to give a program on Saturdays where the young, really young people start getting involved in music.
And like I told you last week, she's also at Peabody too.
Yeah.
So it's nice that she's really involved with the community. And she's really, it's a great thing. So
and I'm glad they have a good hall for her too.
Yeah, it's a nice
that makes a big difference when you have a nice. It's like having a nice instrument to play. You have a nice hall and you hear everything and
the
you
other
can hear
thing
each
too
other.
is that she, I think she's brought in a lot of people to go to her concerts. I see a lot more young people. It's not all white-haired people. Which, if you go to National Symphony, which we went to 1 or 2 concerts, I didn't like their orchestra, I didn't like their playing, and the only people that go, and part of it is because of the ticket prices,
right? They're awful.
Are you looking to see a white hairs, and I'm the youngest one.
But it's more of a social thing in Washington.
Fine.
With all
like
the diplomats.
You can't go to the opera there because it costs so much money. It's ridiculous. You can't even get standing room tickets. You can't get laughing. You can go to the Met for tons cheaper and see great productions than you can at the National. So even though Placido is the director, that's fine. But it's still, like you say, it's more a social thing. You got all these people from foreign countries that are willing to drop the big money to go there. But at the same token, they're making opera elitist.
Washington is just a unique, strange city. That's all, and so you can't, transfer what they do to other areas.
But it's a huge center. It's the capital of our nation, and they should be a little more community oriented. They do have some programs, and I will give them tons of credit for that, especially their 6 p.m. at the Kennedy Center. You know how they have the 6 p.m. pre-concerts, and they have a lot of different groups and stuff come in, and they have the International Festival every year, and they have the open house Kennedy Center, where once a year they open this open house, and they have all the different organizations there.
We've gone to some orchestra concerts that were in the $30 or $40, I think.
They're cheaper than the opera. The cheapest ticket was $65. I'm sorry, but that's ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. So anyways, we're a little off the subject.
We certainly are off the subject.
Well, but we care about classical music and opera, and we would like it to be more accessible to more people. And some people are just not going to pay $65 to go see something when they can go to the movies for $10.
That's true.
Even though movies are expensive too. But
like an opera.
No, but if you compare it to places like in Europe, you can get tickets really
so cheap.
Every town has an opera or an orchestra or both.
Right, and I think I was getting tickets for 15 marks, 20 marks. I would have been
in Heidelberg.
And in Frankfurt too. They were not real expensive,
and they were
leading.
Ones were like 40 marks.
Leading, 40 marks is $20. So
at the time,
there's leading.
No more marks.
No, but there were leading soloists. Every great quartet, every great singer,
we saw
opera people
playing, and I didn't in Frankfurt, and I thought we paid like 20 marks.
It wasn't a lot, and even though we sat back a ways, there's still great halls, and that's to the halls again.
Yeah,
you can hear so
that
well
hall
in all
is
the
a
halls.
former opera. That's the
Alta Opera.
Alta Opera. The new
it's been
opera
redone.
House, which
this is the old opera house.
No, the new one. You know where they...
in Frankfurt. Oh, yeah, I was thinking Heidelberg. Yes,
no, Heidelberg has a really small...
Really old one.
Yeah, very small opera house. One of those teeny tiny
Right,
ones.
the Frankfurt opera, yes, it's all brand new. And they had... when they were building
it...
it...
fire and a flood.
When they were building it, they had
They had a big fire.
Right, and they had it almost done, and then they had to start over again because it was so bad.
That was right before.
But that's the second time. That happened twice.
Yeah, I remember that.
Too, which is really sad because all the money they put in. But every time they redid it, they updated it. They put new technology in it and that type of thing.
They had nice wood floors and they had comfortable seats.
It
wasn't
fine.
So huge a hall where you couldn't see.
I don't think any of the halls are huge over there.
No, they're not. They don't have space for it, and they don't have big,
it works better.
Places.
Right, when you're in these places, they're not so big. It just sounds better, and you can see better, and everything is more interesting.
Look at in Italy how they have those teeny tiny houses. That city that's up on the hill there near Pescia, and what was the name of that place? Monaco. It's called Monaco. It's a city that's up on a hill outside of Pescia. And Hunt took Katie and I. We went to their opera house. Okay, this is a town that you can't drive in because there are probably a population of 300. Yes, it's totally a hill town. It's like 300 people live in the town or so. And you park either at the top and walk in because the streets are so narrow and it's really old stones that you probably fall over yourself walking down because it's really steep. And they have an opera house, and it probably it had like 85 seats or something. The scary thing was the stage, and we went on the stage. In Italy, all the opera houses are raked. Raked means that they're
at an
straight.
angle.
Yes, they're at an angle. So when you're singing, you're standing like this, singing down.
Why did they do that?
Because it helps with the sound. If you're flat, if you're angled, everything goes down into the audience. Anyways, this place was so raked. And it was just, you stood on the stage and you were like, gazing at your feet.
Just fell off.
It was pretty scary. But the point is that all the places in Europe have opera houses, but they're really small. And that's how place development changed when it had to be that in this country you had these. I mean, look at that Northrop Auditorium in Minneapolis. That has like 2,000 to 3,000 seats. We saw the Met Opera there.
That wasn't made for opera and orchestra. I don't think.
But what do they make?
It's a university. It's a university auditorium.
Fine, but they had concerts. They had an organ in there.
They had a lot of
They did concerts and they did operas, and the Met traveled there when we were there. That's where Puerto Rico.
I know they use those places because the cities did not make opera houses and concert halls. They used whatever auditorium was around. That's all. When I grew up in LaPorte, we used the Civic Auditorium. That's where I saw like Porgy and Bess and the Minneapolis Orchestra. Well, it was fairly big because they used it for basketball games. They used it for all kinds of athletic events. So,
do you have a stage then?
Yes, it did on one side. They probably used it for seating for athletic events, I suppose. Used it for all kinds of things.